podcast. Xtra is hosted by Kyle and Ajay. Each week, they discuss Nigeria's current events and latest news. Thanks for joining and for being a part of this conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share. Keep the conversation going as we give you something extra. News you can use. Xtra is an Icon production.
Yo.
Hey, man, what's up?
Oh.
Another week, another day for news and crazy times in the world. Crazy times. It's been a crazy week, man.
AJ, you say that every week, so that means just to say that every week's
No.
a crazy week.
Well, I mean, it's like just so many things happen every week, and it's like you're hopeful that it's going to get better, but when it doesn't, then what do you do? You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear you.
There you
Why
go.
is this not working? This is not what I want, though. We're having some technical difficulties. AJ stole my microphone, stole my camera,
That's right.
I think my headphones.
I have Kyle's microphone, so I will be
Yeah.
I will be using it for some time. So
Oh, my goodness.
yep. Everyone, welcome to Extra News You Can Use, the Icon podcast, where we just kind of discussed the Nigerian news headlines and just kind of give our little opinion takes or give our little two kobo on some of the issues that have been happening in Nigeria, just to raise awareness about the sad situation. So many things are happening in Nigeria. Nigeria has a lot of potential. We know it, you know it, but we do want to just kind of see how we can raise the awareness and get more people to speak up and to have hope for Nigeria. Hope for Nigeria, very, very important. Yes.
Well, we can start off with our own little bit of news, a little bit of selfless promotion that we had a great event down in Birmingham.
Yeah,
I think
Birmingham,
we're kicking it
Alabama.
off. We're
That's
kicking
right.
it off right. You know, I think we're the home of the sort of the equal rights movement. You know, Martin Luther King. Not
That's
maybe
right.
Birmingham, but Montgomery, but definitely Alabama. So I think it was appropriate to kind of start in Alabama, and I think it was a great event, well attended, and hopefully it's the start of many more to come. So I think we can.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that it was good that people were able to just kind of experience hearing about Nigeria and to just be aware of what they could do and how they could get involved in speaking up for Nigeria. A lot of good questions that were asked. I can't remember all of them, but yeah, people were, the main question that a lot of people were asking was just how can we get involved? Like, how can we help? And it goes to let you know that awareness works, and it goes
certainly
and it does a great
does.
deal. Yep, that's right. That's right.
Certainly does. Well, let's get our first article up there after our selfless promotion. Do I even have it up there? I do. Let me get to the right screen. Oh yeah, I got to share. We need to hire someone, man, to do all this stuff. There we go.
There you go.
Pop it in there. Let's see.
Oh.
Why did you do that?
There you go.
So there's been some protests happening, obviously, with this. You know, again, this thing's not over. This whole Deborah Emmanuel, they keep getting her name wrong. Again, her name is not Yakubu. It's not Samuel. It's Emmanuel. Her father's name is Emmanuel Garba. Samuel Yakubu was the house she was staying at while she was studying. So they keep quoting Deborah Samuel, which I guess they just want to keep going with that. So anyways, it's minor technicality, but still important. Let's get her name right. So
yeah.
I think
And
the protests that happened immediately afterwards with the radical Muslim population protesting the arrest of those who killed her was just sad. It was just I just didn't understand. I couldn't fathom it. But then Christians started coming out saying their protest of all, that they need to have justice for Deborah Emanuel.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I'm glad that people are coming out and they're protesting about it, because one question that I kept on asking was like, where are the Christian voices? Like, where are the pastors and the organizations that are coming out to just kind of talk about the outrage, to what actually happened? I think
Exactly.
under no circumstance should anybody have to lose their life in that way. It just doesn't make sense,
Right.
you know. But I'm glad now that they're starting to have a voice, and even letting the family even kind of know that people are concerned about what happened. I was reading another article where her mother was saying that she will never allow any one of their kids to go to school again. You
I
know,
know. This is the thing. I
Mm,
mean, you have this whole thing with first it was Chibok. I mean things have happened. We've often heard, my years since I arrived in 1999, you've often heard of kids being kidnapped from on their way to school, on their way home from school. You know, someone a neighbor or someone knows that they're wealthy, so they kidnap them. I mean, those are things. It was a monetary, it was a financial thing.
yeah,
And then it kind of escalated. You started hearing things again, kidnappings, but then with Chibok, it became really apparent that this is not just financial, monetary gain. This is religious. This is also a way to take advantage of a situation that's gone wrong. And then we have Dapchi with Leah Sharibu, and now we've got Deborah Samuel, who's killed in school. When
yeah,
is it going to be safe to go back to school? That's why so many. What do we say? 10.5 million kids are out of school in Nigeria. You know, add
yeah,
to displaced kids, add to children afraid to go to school. I mean, school used to be a thing of, it was a rite of passage. I didn't attend Nigerian schools. You did. But, that was a thing of you get to that age, like, I want to go to school. I remember kids 3 years old who couldn't even read, barely walk.
yeah,
Mommy, when am I going to school? Yeah, let's go.
yeah, yeah.
Now it's a thing of fear, shame.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at the tail end, what is the use of going if you know
Threat in your
if,
life,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
If then it's such a big threat on your life, and people can you know kill you in that way, and you will literally go out that way. It's just, it's, man, it's crazy. Yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, so there's a couple things that go along with the story. I mean, you put some things in there too.
yeah.
The thing that I had is that there was um, there was an Epoch Times article. Our friend Doug Burton talking with some local witnesses that there was no one intervened. There was
Hmm.
no one came to what do you call it? Help to defend her. There was even allegations that 50 police officers, at least 50 police officers, were watching this, and
Yeah,
Secret Service officers came to stop it, and they were pushed back. They weren't allowed to. And at the same time, she's being killed. Some other girls also being choked or harassed as well. So the police was there watching this the whole time, didn't stop it. They claim, oh, we were overwhelmed, we couldn't do it. At that time, there was, I don't know how many students, maybe 5, 10 at most,
yeah,
and it escalated after when the fire started, but when her body was on fire. But this is just, it's a lie. To have police stand by and watch this is it's a cover up, complicit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, one thing that keeps on going through my mind is, just imagine, maybe she spoke with her parents or with her family, like, just in the morning. Even if you hear the account of her friend Rekia, about how she was just pleading with everybody, and before even her father got there, you know, it 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 was just crazy, you know. Um
Crazy is not a word that I would. I mean, it's It's tragic. It defies any sort of logic to have your daughter be killed.
Yeah.
First of all, second, to be burned. I mean, that's the ultimate slap in the face. The ultimate. I don't know. I mean, it was. We've been watching these in the U.S. This Texas incident going on, and you just cry when you hear stories of, oh, it was my 10-year-old grandson, and the pictures they're showing. I mean, that is awful. It's tragic.
Yeah.
But people don't. They don't respond the same way when it happens over in Nigeria.
Yeah.
This isn't the one girl. This isn't just one incident. This is one of several, of many women, girls being kidnapped, killed, tortured, for what?
And also, like, what about the trauma the trauma and healing for the family, for even the friends that had to watch? Like, you never really hear much about that in Nigeria with as tragic as some of these events or these happenings are. You
Yeah.
never really hear much about how that healing comes into play for these people, for the victims,
We're never gonna know. I mean, Nigerians are strong, durable. They I hate to say it, they roll with the
Resilient.
punch. It's resilient. That's the word. It's it's unfortunate. It's a way of life. They just wonder when it's going to affect them, and they're prepared for it. There's a lot of wailing, a lot of tears, a lot of upset, but they move on and they keep going.
Yeah.
But it's not. It shouldn't be that way. There should be no way that someone just moves on from a death of a loved one. Kidnapping of a loved one. Anything. The security they should have to be able to go to school, to be able to go to church, to be able to just live in your home, go to the farm. It's just not there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm even glad that you said that, because it's that simple. It's people just want a simple life. I will never forget. I was listening to an interview with one Nigerian activist girl, and she said that, what the world needs to understand, that even what the Nigerians are asking for is just the right to live. That is all that they want. That is all they are asking people just to help them get. It's not even something that should be so complicated, but with what they have to put up with, it's just hard. They have to try to voice so much to get people understand that their lives mean something.
Yeah. I think at the same time you had written about I heard about this, the 20 that were also beheaded. I mean, that's ISWAP is alive and well. Not only do we have this girl being lynched, burned alive, burned, definitely, her body. Then the protests afterwards of the Islamic extremists who wanted to release those who perpetrated the crime, committed the crime. Again, we're not guilty till proven you're innocent till proven guilty, but let's have at it. And then these protests, the destruction across Nigeria, from Sokoto to Kano to Bauchi to Maiduguri, even Abuja, there was protests, I guess.
Yeah.
But then to have this ISWAP release a video of executing 20 people.
Yeah. And this is happening again, just less than 2 weeks after what's his name from the EU? I forgot his name. Came to Nigeria and came and
UN
said that
Secretary
everything.
General Guterres, yeah.
Yeah. I get
not the EU, the UN. I mean, EU is one thing.
Sorry.
The UN, that's United Nations. I mean, you're right. I mean, he's the largest figure that outside of the president of the U.S. or the UK Prime Minister, whatever. But yeah, it just baffles the mind. I mean, you see it, you hear it, you can't explain to people. I guess that's why people aren't as moved. Because it always happens. It's an ongoing, it's a daily occurrence. It's regular. You get kind of, it's just, this is overwhelming. It's just a normal occurrence. Whereas a mass shooting in the U.S. garners attention, attracts this sort of, fear and, shock and awe. But this stuff in Nigeria, it's like, oh, that's normal. That's natural. It isn't normal. It isn't natural. It's not a part of life. It's become a part of life because no one's stopping it. Nigerian,
Yeah.
again, the whole article the Epoch Times had pointed at the complicity of the security forces, the army, the police that stood by and watched. And that wasn't the first time. It won't be the last time. But there's several incidents beforehand, for years, how either security was involved with these attacks on remote villages and towns, or they just covered them up, or they didn't stop them. So this kind of attack on a Christian schoolgirl, these kind of attacks will continue, until something's done. So attention is brought.
And that is what Kyle and I, week after week, we always try to bring awareness to the stories of the victims, because you constantly hear them talking about how, and it's in the reports, it's in these news articles that we are talking about, of them saying that they either call the special forces or the police or soldiers were, or security forces were there standing. Nobody did anything. Nobody lifted up a hand.
Yeah.
And they say it, and they say it, but I don't know. It's
Yep. Next article. I mean, it's not. I mean, we're just gonna keep burying ourselves in this hole of
Yeah.
misery and pain. This
Yeah.
article is from the Council for Foreign Relations. Gruesome blasphemy killing brings Nigeria's long-running ethno-religious divide into sharp focus. This is international. This is the U.S. This is an office here. I think they do a decent job of reporting things in Nigeria. They don't often do the deep dive as they should with data and incident reporting, but they capture a little bit better than some others that are doing this sort of research and analysis. So I appreciate this. I didn't appreciate the theme of the article because it's tragic, but I appreciate their taking attention and taking the time to actually address it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that also plays like a big part in people kind of taking the time to challenge themselves to understand the issues. Many a times have I seen people trying to explain the issues in Nigeria, and they would have to go back to explaining the history for it to just all make sense, just because of how crazy it is. And these are issues that just didn't even start today. How do you explain a conflict that's over 20 years old? Where
20 years
you
old. This is, I mean, you talk to many in Nigeria, many that are being persecuted, many are being, they'll go back to Matasini in the 80s. They'll go back to the independence. They'll go back, the Biafra War, Civil War. They'll go back to independence. They'll go back to the British rule. They'll go back to Danfodio, Usman Danfodio. It's not just 20 years. It's not just 30 years. It's 100 years. It's 200 plus years. And this is still raging inside of many Nigerian. There's a threat. There's an inner threat that says this won't stop until this is addressed or this is fully squashed. I mean, the whole thing of the jihad, the Fulani Wars in 1804, is still alive today because it didn't. Did it stop with the Emirates being established? It did for a time, and the British took over and with superior weapons. But the mindset for some is still there that the conquering of Nigeria is, or whatever the land that is now Nigeria, is still there.
Yeah.
You're not going to subdue me. I'm going to subdue you. So, there's a Fulani militant faction that's kind of continuing or perpetuating this sort of fear in Nigeria. It isn't a conspiracy theory, people. This is, you talk to many a Nigerian Christian, and that's something that's very deep rooted in their psyche, that they know this story. They know they have other stories that they use to explain it, but this is something that's important, and the West doesn't recognize it. They don't understand it. Just like they don't understand, sort of the animus, the traditional beliefs where, you've heard these stories where the police were chasing the robber down the street. They turned a corner and they saw a goat. So they arrested the goat because they believed the robber turned into a goat. We laugh at that. I laugh at that. You laugh at that. But at the same time, their worldview, that's what the truth is, right? It makes sense to them because they believe that spirits and ancestors can inhabit animals, can inhabit trees, snakes, different things.
Yeah.
So this whole concept of a religious war dating back to at least the jihad of 1804 with Usman Danfodio is still there. It shouldn't be. Someone should address it and have it discussed. Religious leaders, traditional leaders should have a discussion on it. But we're using our intellect, our sort of science and whatever brain to try to explain away things, and it's not working.
Yeah.
You know, this whole article that the CFR, Council for Foreign Relations, puts out it's true. There's an ethno-religious divide that will not go away until we take a sharper, closer look at it.
Well, I mean, yeah, like even take for instance, I was watching another interview that David Hundy, yeah,
Hunadine,
yeah, did, and he was explaining about how there is the Nigerian Constitution, whether people believe in it or not, but you have like the cases of the blasphemy where, if I'm not mistaken, they don't really rely on the Nigerian Constitution to treat those cases.
Well, there's
They go back to the Sharia laws.
yeah.
Yeah, and even that is not even a part of the Constitution. So even if you are a Nigerian citizen that is in Nigeria, when it comes down to being tried, there are different courts that try you that are a part of the system, or
Well, they passed it off kind of. So I think it was Obasanjo was president. So they said, oh, this is more religious. And that's the thing with Islam. It's everything is part of your religion. The banking, the business, the traditions, the religion, of course, everything, the legal aspects, the stealing and whatever, it's all tied into their religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's theocracy. That's to some extent, it's a great thing. You look at Israel, where initially the kingdom was there and David ruled, and then this happened, and then that happened. So, there's different things that tie in your religion to your way of life. And that's, as a Christian, you want to live your whole life before the face of God. But what is done is, when we brought in Sharia law into 12 states in Nigeria, people were confused. Is this side by side with the Constitution? Because I thought we were a federal republic of Nigeria. I thought we were non-religious, and we're secular. We don't choose Christian or Muslim. We allowed both, but we didn't choose. But you're telling me that now Sharia is here. Oh, no. It's not going to affect the Christians. The Muslim leaders would say this. It only applies to us as Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Then why is Deborah Emanuel dead? If she supposedly blasphemed, if she supposedly did this, you killed her. So you can't even take her to the Sharia court because you killed her.
Yeah.
There's no Sharia court, on the fly, jungle justice.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think we think you're, David, this was we've talked about this. I mean, you can go back into time when Sharia first was brought in. It baffled people, still baffles people. It's another thing that needs to get the attention of the world. How is this happening? How is this possible?
Yeah.
Why are we giving money to a Nigerian government that supports this kind of behavior and doesn't stop it?
Yeah. It's I'm totally at a loss for words over that.
Well, let's move on to oil, baby. This is
yes. We keep on saying follow the money. Follow the money. So, but this was a pretty interesting article. And I think, that the elections are coming up soon, and, there are just many, Nigeria is just surrounded by issues. But I think that this is one that people really need to also pay attention to.
So the article is from Punch. Russia's imminent oil ban puts Nigeria's low output on the spot. So with Russia being blacklisted or banned from exporting into, more democracies, the EU, UK, the US, Nigeria could fill the gap. They could be working to help. But what's the article say, AJ? Are they meeting the quota? Are they pumping out what they should be pumping out? Let me answer that. No.
Let me pull it up here.
So they're supposed to be. They OPEC determines. They meet together between the OPEC countries, and they determine how many barrels. You don't want to give out all your oil a day, but there's a certain amount to keep the prices regular, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They've been given permission to put out 1.7 million barrels a day, right? A day. So that's, if you average that out, that's about 23 million barrels a year.
Yeah.
Nigeria's been averaging this year 1.3 to 1.4. Now, it may not seem like a lot, 400
Mm-hmm.
million barrels or 400,000 barrels, but think of the cost. It started last year about $86. It's now up to $97. I don't know what the rate is today, but
Yeah.
that's revenue lost. Your whole budget in Nigeria is based on what?
Oil.
And you're not pumping out enough. You're not taking advantage of, how terrible is this?
Yeah.
You could be
Yeah.
you could be saving money to help save people's lives. You could be using money to bolster
Exactly.
defenses, and yet you can't even pump out what you're given to do. Speak
Exactly.
less of losing it to theft and bunkering. The oil is being tapped, it's being stolen, it's being sold, whatever. I don't know how many millions of barrels they lose a year on theft and bunkering, but
Yeah.
that 1.3 that they're outputting is probably closer to 1.1 when they think of all the theft and the loss of oil production.
Yeah, but then like one thing that kind of scared me about the article was the fact that if the world starts to rely on Nigeria to get that to fill the gap for what they aren't getting from Russia anymore, then to me it just kind of makes the political um uh um um uh realm or like atmosphere a bit more crazier, because that then means that it's more guaranteed money, knowing that no matter what the output is, there is still a source, and for other countries to be getting it out of Nigeria, like it's crazy. Like I never even knew that we don't really refine oil in Nigeria, you
Oh
know
no, I mean that's the big thing.
you know
We had refiners. There's one in Kaduna. There was one down the coast, but it never. They're all outdated. I mean, I don't know how many old 25, 30 years. They don't work. I think
yeah.
Kaduna does kerosene. I think that's the only thing that really may be decent. I'm not even sure. But
Hmm.
but here you are. So Dangote, who is the billionaire of Nigeria, he's the Jeff Bezos
Of
of
Africa.
Nigeria, of Africa. Yeah, there you go. I mean, he's probably just as wealthy, whatever. Concrete, trucking,
Hmm.
other things, and now he's given the contract to build a refinery. Is that because he has the money to do it, or it's because he's got connections with the politics? And what's going to happen when he finally builds these things? Is it going to even last? Is he going to succumb to pressure too and not refine as much as he's supposed to be? We're
Yeah.
subsidized. I mean, Nigeria is heavily subsidized. For every so you put a barrel of oil out at $97.
Hmm.
You have to pay whatever to get it back as refined fuel for cars and stuff
So it's shipped out of the country to be
out of the
refined
country
and
to be refined
then
and brought
brought
back
back
in as
in
fuel, and you're
to be
not
sold
you're
to the
right.
public.
The profit you're making is minimal to none, because you have to buy the fuel now to then put in the gas station. So they're subsidizing it, right?
Hmm.
Because they believe it's a gift. We produced oil, like the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia. Often they were selling gas for like 20 cents a gallon for a while,
Hmm.
because they produced it all. I don't think it's that anymore.
Hmm.
But so it's always, we tried to copy that. I remember when I first arrived in Nigeria, it was 20 naira a liter. That's a long time ago, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Now
it's
it's
up
like
to what,
almost like
200,
500.
300? Yeah,
It's,
if you can get it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. 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 So I feel, definitely people need to pay more attention about, with what is also happening with the oil, because I feel that that is the economical part of where also the problem is at, you know, um, and how it's also another source of money that just comes into the country that
It's
we
your
don't
only
know.
source. I mean, it's your
Yeah.
only source. You bet every single thing is based on the oil revenue. So everything that is given to the states and the local governments is coming from oil. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been a push the last couple of years, but it's not been enough to go back to agriculture or subsistence living or farming or something. But you can't even do that when you can't even protect people, or you're giving the contracts to bigger farms to your friends and buddies, your cronies, and you're really not helping the local people. You're helping yourselves. So the
Yeah.
problem keeps going worse. It's getting
And
worse
and like see, even
and worse.
Nigeria has more than enough land to supply agriculture, even
Yep.
globally. There is so much flat land, bare just land that is just sitting
Arable
there
land. Yeah,
that
it's
that is rich. It's, but again,
it could easily feed the 200 million in Nigeria. It could easily feed a lot of the West Africa. It could probably also feed European markets as well.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as the development, you go there, you have some modern farms, very few. Most of them
Hmm.
are people that are what do you call it? Just local
And
farmers.
and also Nigeria also has the workforce too,
Yep.
of knowledgeable farmers that would know how to actually maintain the farm, and they know the crops and all of that stuff. So it would be, the up, yeah. And that is just a frustrating part. The opportunities are there, but it's like, no, let's just stay on this oil. This is the best place for us to be,
Yep.
you know. Sheesh.
All
All
right.
right. What's our
Last
last one?
article. The last article is U.S. military aid has helped Nigeria so much so that they want it to continue. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. This was another crazy article. Um, just security alone. Security alone. Look at how much money has entered Nigeria.
Yeah.
2 billion.
I mean, it was the Super Tucanos, it was the helicopters. It was all this stuff because they think Nigeria is this angel country that can help them stop the threat of terrorism from Burkina Faso, from Mali, from Somalia, from Sudan. I mean, they're poised to be the stars of Africa. They are. They can. The people are there. The human resources are there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yet we've squandered it. It's not stopped anything. If anything, it's made it worse.
Well, again, like even with this article, they are kind of saying that where even with the Takeno helicopters, me and you, we even mentioned this in another report about how they were saying that that the intelligence, is, they would say that Boko Haram is in one place, and then some way, somehow they would go and bomb like a village, or certain people would also be within the bomb range and would be affected, But we constantly hear reports about scores of bandits or Boko Haram people being bombed out, or blasted, and then you hear something like this, it to me, it's, yeah, again, it's crazy, like it's
Yeah.
uncomparable, you know you know
Well, it's one of these
so
things where you continue to know that the truth is out there, but it's not being exposed. They're either the U.S. government is afraid to admit they've been bamboozled, to admit that they've been taken advantage of, or there's still hope. They still think there's going to be some hope coming.
yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but
And like there is a line here where it says, and this is from the report that this article is based on, that trainings provided by the US and others have been insufficient. All right. And apparent limited capacity to shape the conduct of Nigerian security forces, notably on best practices to minimize civilian harm and follow up to allegations of the abuses. So they even hear of these reports, but who is following up to them? Say either this is how we avoid it next time. This, who even knows if that's even happening?
yeah.
You know?
I mean, these are the things. I mean, the you have for years a great relationship. I mean, I remember even back in the '60s, you heard even the '50s of soldiers being brought to West Point, brought to the U.S. to be trained. Continued on through the years, where several, I even known several Air Force people who've been trained in the U.S. and Texas and other places on the state of the art technology. They go back.
Yeah.
Either they can't use it because the planes they have are not well maintained, or they don't have the planes, or they're even put into a desk job where they can't utilize their skills they've been trained on. So those who are being trained, there used to be for a time several majors and other army leaders come out and train Nigerians to do certain things. And it, I had a senator or a House of Reps here in the U.S. tell me they don't. He says he's opposed every time a bill comes or something comes up to say let's fund the Nigerian army. They don't want to do it because they don't believe it's worthwhile. Because they'll either use it against their own people or it's the wrong people being trained and what have you. So,
yeah. So, like in that case, then what do you do to like curb the whole security thing? I mean, that is just a question.
$1 million question.
You
have a serious review. What is the purpose? What are we doing what we need to do with the money that's being put in there, with the resources that have been used, and you're going to be, if you're willing to hear the answer, no.
Well, I think like even a good way to do it is to work with the nonprofits, to have a chain of accountability, coming down to.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, the nonprofits are there. They may be working in a different angle. It's the fact that we're not keeping accountability of it. So it's the U.S. government that fails. When you give money out and you're not training people well, or you're not setting them up to succeed, then it's your fault. Then there needs to be investigations. I know the Nigerian government has that. They've investigated contracts, different things from ammunition to weaponry and different things. I've known some of the people who've been on those committees to review it, and they come out and say it's flawed. You've not done what you said you're going to do. But what happens? What's the repercussions? What's the damage?
Yeah. As I say, follow the money.
Well, that's going to be the big thing. I mean, the whole thing is it's not just if we've at one time I started to look at around like how much the EU is given, how much ECOWAS is given, how much the African Union is given, how much the U.S., Canada, all these foreign governments invest in Nigeria. And where are we? A country that could probably, if they removed subsidies, if they had refineries, if they did farming, if they did things right, which they have said they were trying to do, they could be the wealthiest country in Africa.
Yeah. But then, can I also ask you, do you think that it's more about the business than actually the welfare of, like, if I know that I can make a deal off of selling you the weapons, it does help my economy at whatever cost it is.
Well, I don't think that's the thing. The thing is, so if I have the equipment, I produced it, I help my own country with its own jobs and what have you, and I sell you that helps my country. You're right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the goal is not to make yourself rich, but to help that country defend itself, protect itself, be a leader in security, whatever,
Yeah.
the region, the country, the nation, or the region. So.
And that is why the accountability is so important then, because if it's not just about making the sale, then it is about also making sure that what probably we agreed that the product would be used for is what it's going to be used for in a certain manner, right? That is why even the laws to selling arms are there, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's the lesser of two evils, right? So if I don't sell this arms to the Nigerian government, or if I don't give them these airplanes or helicopters, then they'll go elsewhere, right? So if they go elsewhere, who are they going to go to? China, Russia, those are the other leading ones. They may go to Pakistan, which I think they've done, or they may go to Turkey or Saudi Arabia. But by and large, they're probably going to another opposing, or one that we don't agree with, and we're at war, not with Russia directly, but we're at the war with Russia through Nigeria. So now Russians come and train Nigerians like they're doing in Burkina Faso, like they're doing in Mali. What now happens? That's this whole diplomacy thing is a slippery slope. You want security, you want peace in the region. Who are you going to invest in? Who are you going to have help you? And they've chosen Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that's and they'll turn their eyes to atrocities like this Deborah Emanuel. They won't come out and say, we demand this, we demand the change, the jailing of everyone involved and everyone, because they're afraid if they say too much that Nigeria may go a different direction.
Yeah. It's
It's
So,
another day. We finished. I mean, I hate to
It's-
say we finished. We did it, but again, it's one of these sad. You're right. At the beginning, it's another bad week.
yeah.
But we have hope for Nigeria.
Yes, we do have hope for Nigeria. Oh man, I finally got my shirt. I will wear it for y'all next week.
What's the shirt you got on now? What's BMA? BAAMA?
That's-
What does that mean?
That is
Boys
Bama.
are men
Roll Tide.
always.
That's
Rose
right.
Hide?
Roll Tide.
What's a tide that roll?
That's the Crimson Tide.
I don't think so. Okay, that's it for this week. We're going off script now.
Yeah, but these news articles, they're important, and I think that as me and Kyle, every week we're here, kind of talking about them. We are just giving our opinions about what we're reading and how we're understanding, but we also encourage you to continue to follow Icon and to also have the will to see, to challenge yourself to read these articles and follow up on the news and the cases. Some of these are egregious cases like Deborah's case, Leah Sharibu, other cases of blasphemy that are out there, and what is being done, and find a way of speaking out, about joining those that are advocating for peace and for even a better
truth,
Nigeria.
transparency. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing is with truth, with transparency, you'll have a better country. I mean, but if you continue to hide things and put things, not in the spotlight or whatever, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next week. We
Same
do know,
time, same space.
yeah. And in case some of you were trying to watch our last episode, I think we had a little issue with YouTube, but
Did you ever figure that out?
I didn't figure that out. Something happened, and they cut out our video. So, but
it's still not on.
Yeah, so we wrote them, but we
what?
haven't
It's
heard
not
anything.
on.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, it's on Twitter, but it's not on YouTube. So, but
All right,
we
man.
just want to let you know that we're trying to work on it in case you missed that episode. But thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you next week.